Before this video begins, make sure you guys subscribe. Also, make sure you join my new Discord server. Lastly, if you want some merch, the link is in the description. And make sure you follow me on all of my social medias. Yo, what's up guys? It's Nick from Big Ants Gaming and welcome back to another MLB The Show 20 Top 10 video, as today is the second to last Top 10 ranking. Today we are going to be doing relievers and closers, and they both count as the same position. So yeah, we're going to be doing our top 10 relief and closing pitchers in MLB The Show 20 Diamond Dynasty, and then next week you'll be seeing a couple of videos for MLB The Show 21 news before Friday when the game comes out, and the last MLB The Show 20 video ever for me, which is going to be the top 10 players overall in Diamond Dynasty. I've done the top 10 catchers, first, second, third, short, left, center, right, and starters so far, and today is going to be relievers and closers, and then the final MLB The Show 20 video is going to be the top 10 players in Diamond Dynasty overall. So without further ado, let's get into the list. So honorable mention is going to be someone who's actually on my main team, and it's going to be Nick Anderson, but I'm going to use his normal card because you can't use the prestiges because some players don't get prestiges, so that's like an unfair advantage. If you look at Nick Anderson's stats, maxed out per nines, if you look at him on paper, like those stats, it doesn't really get better than that. Like, the only things that could increase, hypothetically, are the walks per nine, control, and velocity by 1, and you'd have a perfect pitcher, like a perfect relief pitcher. Four-seam, curveball, sinker, slider. This card on paper, I mean, he could be the best in the game, but the speed differentials weren't that great with him. I didn't do that well with him. I don't think many people were dotting people up with this card. It was still a good card. The speed differentials get better with the prestige, and if you look at the prestige, I mean, like, there's just nothing that gets better, that can get better besides the control. But Nick Anderson is a great closer to have. He'll probably do pretty well for you. If you get into the higher divisions, he'll probably get hit well. But he's a good card to have. He's an honorable mention. And then number 10 is going to be another finest, and it's going to be Liam Hendrix. Liam Hendrix, the reason why he's ahead of Nick Anderson is for one reason, and it's because of pitch selection. Now, Liam Hendrix and Nick Anderson are pretty much the same card if I compare them. Let me put in Nick Anderson to Liam Hendrix. They're pretty much the same card, except Nick Anderson has higher velocity and better clutch, but Liam Hendrix pretty much has everything else. Liam Hendrix, he still has high velocity. It's just the velocity attribute isn't higher than Nick Anderson's, but maxed out per nines as well. He has better control and walks per 9 than Nick Anderson. The break is 99, which pretty much everybody has in the end game for closing pitchers. Four-seam slider, curveball, two-seam changeup. Now normally he's not gonna have a changeup. They just added it to make it better. Now if you look at the pitch speeds, they're not good on this card, and my ERA kind of shows. But on the finest prestige, the speed differentials get much better, and he still wasn't amazing. They're good cards. They're both good cards, but none of them are really that good in the higher rankings, and they'll be pretty dominant for you if you're in like pennant race around there. But higher up, they're not amazing. So number 9, a bit of a letdown in my opinion, and it's gonna be Mariano Rivera. Now, obviously, in real life, Mariano Rivera is by far the best closer in the history of the sport. We all know that, right? But in this game, his signature series card, I think he was really the first 99 reliever. He was the first 99 reliever that we got in the cycle. And we got him around June, I think, either June or July, sometime around there. It was the 5th inning program, I think. Don't quote me on that. I can actually check locations. Yeah, 5th inning program. 115, 110 per nines. That's really good. The control, really good. Velocity, really good. Break, really good. Clutch, maxed out. This card on paper is elite. The repertoire is elite. Cutter, four-seam, sinker, slider, changeup. The speed differentials are good between the slider and the changeup. The fastballs could be a little better, though. I wasn't that horrible with him. With his regular card, 4.43 ERA in 87 innings, and his prestige, 4.62 in 64 innings. So this card was pretty good, but he wasn't really anything special. Now, it's Mariano Rivera. He's the greatest closer of all time. But he was a really good reliever in the beginning of his cycle, and he was in everyone's bullpen, so he got overused. But yeah, he was still a really good closer. He's going to go number 9. Now, number 8, I'm going to go with Andrew Miller. Now, it's a little skeptical for me to put him ahead of Mo, and the only reason I'm putting him ahead of him is because there aren't that many dominant lefties in this game, bullpen-wise. He's one of them. I use this card way too much against righties. You want to bring him in for 1 inning when you face a bunch of lefties, and you want to take him out immediately. His ERA 21 innings is pretty bad, 7.71. But against lefties, he is dominant. Slider, 4-seam sinker. This guy is good. He's really good to... That slider is a very difficult pitch to hit. Almost maxed out per 9s. Maxed out velo and break. Really good control. Maxed out clutch. This card, lefty-wise, lefty-lefty, I think this is probably the best matchup in the game, pitching-wise. That slider is so dominant, and then you mix in the fastballs. He's really, really good against lefties. I just overused him against righties, which I recommend you don't do that, because his ERA will completely blow up. Andrew Miller, number 8. Number 7 is going to be someone who I actually sold, but I used for a while, and he sort of got overused. It's going to be 95 overall. Where is he? Rob Dibble. Now, this card is very good, and he is dominant on Legend. He's dominant on Hall of Fame, but he is absolutely atrocious on All-Star. So you do not want to use this guy in BR. You do not want to use this guy in the very beginning of the season. You want to use him when you're playing in Championship Series or World Series games, because that's where he thrives. As you can see, a nice amount of innings with a good ERA at 4.13. Believe it or not, that's good in the higher divisions. 4-seam slider cutter. The repertoire isn't amazing, but if you look at those speed differentials, it makes up for it, and you can locate all of those pitches pretty much anywhere in the zone. So 99 on the fastball, and he does have outlier. So that's going to reach 101, 102. Slider goes all the way down to 83, cutter 92. This is a very good reliever. So Rob Dibble is going to be number 7. Now number 6 is going to be another flamethrower. And it's going to be Rollis Chapman. Now Rollis Chapman, signature series. My goodness, he is very good. 106.2 innings pitched, 4.13 ERA. That's great. 4-seam sinker, slider, changeup, 2-seam. Pretty good repertoire. The speed differentials, ignore the 2-seam because you don't ever use it because he already has a sinker. 4-seam sinker, slider, changeup. All really good speed differentials. Maxed out per 9s, maxed out velocity and break. The one bad thing about this card is that he is pretty wild, and if you can locate with him, he's dominant. Sometimes he's off, sometimes he's on, but when he's on, he's really on. Rollis Chapman, really good card. 100 innings, 4 ERA. Very good. Rollis Chapman's going to be number 6. Number 5, a very sneakily good reliever, Garrett Crochet. Hops now. This card was practically free. And if you look, he also has outlier on his fastball. 120, 113 per 9s, 99 velocity, 99 break. 4-seam slider, changeup, curveball. The reason why I have this card ahead of Rollis Chapman is strictly because of the control. They do the same thing, except Crochet's control is better. That's it. That's the only reason why Crochet is ahead of him at number 5. Number 4, finest, classics, Josh Hader. Maxed out per 9s, very common in this video. 99 break, 86 velocity. Yes, that could be higher, but the thing is the velocity stat is really overrated in my opinion. You just have to look at the actual pitch speeds. As you can see, he has 86 velocity, but he still throws 97 on his 4-seam. And Rollis Chapman, who had 99 velocity and outlier, throws 102. That doesn't really translate well with the attribute, if you get what I'm saying. he plays like he has like 93 velocity, 94, if you get what I'm saying. But anyway, Josh Hader, really, 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 really good. 40 innings, 4 ERA. He's pretty expensive, but he's really good. 4-seam slider, changeup, 2-seam. You can work the 2-seam as a sinker-ish type pitch, and the speed differentials are there between the slider, changeup, and the fastballs. He has a lot more control than it looks like on his stats. I'll say that right now. He has more control than Crochet and Chapman. So Josh Hader, number 4. Number 3 is going to be a signature series, and it's going to be Kenley Janssen. This guy was really good last year. He's really good this year. Now, I know his ERA doesn't look amazing, but it got blown up. I had one really bad outing, and I was just grinding for prestige stats, and I left him in. But the per-nines are elite. Velocity, break, maxed out. Control, 91-92 for control walks per nine. That's really good. Cutter, slider, sinker, changeup, 4-seam. The speeds are really good, except for the fastballs. That does hurt him, but he's still a really good closer. He has, in my opinion, the perfect pitch repertoire. So, yeah, Kenley Janssen, number 3. Number 2 is going to be another signature card, and it's going to be Rich Gossage. Now, Rich Gossage, I didn't get to use that much, so take my stats with him with a little bit grain of salt. So, the per-nines, 124, 125, practically maxed. Velocity break, not practically, they are maxed. The control, it's meh, but it's not really as bad as it looks. This card is really good. He is pretty extinct though, because he's a million stubs and he's one of those event rewards. We need to hopefully, and I'll talk about this with the number 1 player. We really need to get rid of the stub cap on the market and just the stub cap in the game in general. But Rich Gossage anyway, elite reliever. The pitch is 4-seam, sinker, slurve, changeup. He has outlier on the 4-seam, so those speed differentials are great. He's number 2, and then number 1 is not going to be on my team, and I'm about to rant for a little bit. The number 1 reliever in this game is going to be Billy Wagner. And Billy Wagner, 122, 125 per nines, 82 control, 85 walks per nine, 99 velocity, 99 break, 125 clutch. 4-seam slider, curveball, changeup. The speed differentials are definitely there. Outlier on that fastball. He's by far the best reliever / closer in this game. But there is an issue with him. He is impossible to get unless you are a beast at the game and you can go 12-0 in BR, which I cannot. I'm really good at this game. I make World Series pretty commonly, and I'm not trying to brag, but BR, I'm just horrible. I just cannot go 12-0. I have had an order. I've had a buy order for this guy since October 20-something, and it still hasn't gone through. It just shows you how hard it is to get guys like this. It's a shame that these guys are extinct, and I hope they get rid of the cap for MLB 21. We'll see on Thursday night or Friday. We'll see. But yeah, anyways, Billy Wagner is the number 1 reliever in MLB The Show 20 Diamond Dynasty. So yeah, that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I've been your host, Nick from Bingheads Gaming. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.